Hey, it's Clay, CPAP My Way, CPAPmyway.com. Today I'm here to discuss Nasal Cradle CPAP masks. So this is a type of mask that cradles underneath the nose, as you can see on the four options we have in front of us here. It's a little bit different than standard nasal because standard nasal goes around the nose, kind of like a clown nose style. And it has some real serious benefits to these options as well as maybe some drawbacks for some people. So in this video, I'm going to go over what exactly these masks are, how they work, the difference between them and standard nasals. And then we're also going to break down each individual mask, the pros and cons, and why you might like one over the other. Or if you're having trouble with one of these, why maybe one of the others might work for you. As always, if you enjoyed the info, please hit us with a thumbs up. We really appreciate that. Subscribe for more content and comment with any experience of your own or questions that I might can answer. I do my best to get back to everybody. So let's jump right in. All right, so nasal cradle masks have been around for a while. These four are fairly new, but I think it's gonna go back in my recollection to maybe like the OptiLife from Respironics. That's not one we carry anymore. I don't think it's made anymore, but it was the first to kind of rest underneath the nose. That was made by Philips. Then they launched this DreamWear, which is a really great option as well. That particular mask, when it first came out, I was like, there's no way this seals. We demoed it and I'm like, holy cow, it actually works. So it kind of opened my eyes to the possibilities of these masks. But to give you kind of an understanding of what exactly these masks are, this is the N30 from ResMed. And you'll notice on this mask that it has just like a little cup that rests underneath the nose, or a cradle, you might call it, right? Instead of sealing over top of the nose, which may cause some abrasion or leaks, along the side of the bridge of the nose, especially if you got a pointy nose like myself, this mask rests underneath the nose, right? So there's nothing touching in between the eyes. You can wear glasses, you could read, watch TV much easier than you could with a traditional nasal style mask. It is similar to like a nasal pillow, but the benefits between this and a nasal pillow is with a nasal pillow, you've got the little buds resting on the nostrils, which can cause some abrasion. All the pressure is just on the tip of your nostrils on a nasal pillow. And additionally, on a nasal pillow, you've really got like two streams of air going up your nose. So if you're on higher pressures, sometimes that can be a bit much, especially to exhale against if you're using a nasal pillow mask. This gives you a little bit more versatility because it gives you some of the benefits of a nasal, the easier fit, the easier exhale. But it also gives you the benefit of a very minimal contact to your face, kind of like a nasal pillow would. So it's a really cool option for people that are on nasals that might be tired of the big, clunky nasal standard masks, or some people that are maybe having some issues with nasal pillows. So for a quick bulk intro here, ResMed makes two different cradle masks. We've got the N30i, which has the top of the head tube connection, the N30, which stays on the front of the face, obviously. Then Philips makes the DreamWear. That's probably the one that's been around the longest out of these. And then Fisher & Paykel recently released this Evora, which is a cool mask as well. So let's start off with the new end of the block. That is the Evora. All right, so Fisher & Paykel always does a really good job with masks, and this is definitely no different. The Evora here is very unique in the way the headgear fits for sure. And it has a pretty unique shape to the cradle, which is, a very deep cradle, kind of goes up the sides of the nose and helps to seal really, really well. The headgear is termed as a ball cap style headgear. So you can see it's rigid. It's kind of, it's not floppy at all, right? So you're supposed to be able to just kind of put it on like a ball cap. As long as it's fitted correctly to your head, that usually goes pretty well. I'll try it on for you in a few minutes here and let you hear it on the machine. This particular mask is available in small, medium, wide, and large. You can see the size of the mask right there on the side. Just got a big clear M on it. As far as the mask goes, there's some really cool pros that make it pretty unique. Like I said, the headgear is really cool. As it fits on, it's really that easy. Super simple to put on and off when you've got it fit correctly to your head. It has a really soft silicone, so you're gonna have very little abrasion issues with it for sure. Big opening for your nose. Some of them have like a divided nasal part there that some people like or dislike. And the frame of the mask is really unique as well, right? So if you're maintaining your mask, you have to take it apart, right? You literally just grab this piece here and kind of give it a little pull up, and it takes the entire frame loose, the headgear frame that is, from the actual cushion and the tube itself. This part obviously has to be washed a little more often than the headgear, so it's kind of a unique and very easy way to maintain the mask. It snaps right back together really easy as well. Some of the cons, I think, rest right alongside with some of the pros. The headgear does have some hard plastic in it. We've had a few people say that, you know, like sleeping on it sometimes can be a little bit rough. It is obviously covered, and you can buy some little separate covers for it as well, but it is some hard plastic which may or may not interfere with the way you sleep. The other thing is the cushion can be a little wonky to remove. I mean, it does snap in and out of there like any other would, but you really have to kind of pull up from the bottom of it, you know, grab the bottom of it and pull it off. If you try to pull from the sides or from the top, a lot of times it's really difficult to get off. So that's one thing about it. You have to make sure you pull from the bottom. It can be a little bit wonky to remove from time to time. And the other thing that people have told us is that this part here, it has a little bit of like a thicker piece of silicone right there that kind of makes the rigidity of the bottom seal. Some people say that it presses on the upper lip a little bit too hard. Now, I think that may just be an adjustment of the headgear issue, but it is something to keep in mind that we have had a few people report that it presses on the upper lip a little bit. All right, so let's hook this Evora up. I'm gonna try it on and give you a little understanding of what it sounds like. I'm gonna hook it up on our AirSense 11 here. I've got this set at 10 centimeters of pressure so that we can kind of give an average view of what it's gonna sound like on a, you know, average pressure. So like I said, it fits on like the ball cap. Just kind of slip it over, slip it down. Very, very simple. I'm gonna fire it up. I'm gonna tighten it up just a little bit. All right, we're running a TID there. Hopefully you can see that on the screen. Get a little closer so you can hear. The exhale's really well diffused. You don't feel, you know, probably that far away before I'm feeling any exhalation at all. Also a very quiet exhalation. I will say that you feel a little bit of draft up by the eyes, the way it exhales. But that wouldn't bother me. It may or may not bother somebody with a little bit more sensitive eyes. But very comfortable and very, very quiet. And then taking it off is just as easy, right? Just up and over with that baseball cap style. But it's a really, really nice mask, and I think a lot of people would fit really, really well with it. Just that design of the cradle is really, really nice. All right, so for consistency, the next one I wanted to take a look at here is the N30. The N30 may look pretty familiar to you because it is very similar to the P10, which is a very popular nasal pillow mask from ResMed. In fact, it's almost identical except for the fact that it has a cradle cushion instead of pillows. So if you've always liked the way a P10 fits as far as the headgear and the simplicity of it, this is a really good option to get you away from the pillows if that's something that has bothered you in the past. You can see it's got a very unique headgear. There's very little to adjust on it. You just have this one little strap that if you pull it, it tightens it on your head, split on the back, but it's all elastic headgear. So very stretchy, very easy to fit, and very little headgear on your face. All of it is pretty soft as well. This particular one is a medium. So if you look on the bottom there, you can see the M for medium, and it has a blue color to it. It's available in small, medium, and small wide. This happens to be a medium, and I feel like medium fits a vast majority of people in this particular mask. It is available in a fit pack. All of these masks I'm showing you today are available in a fit pack, so you can order it with all sizes included. That way you don't have to guess which size fits you best. Some really cool pros of this mask are that it has extremely stretchy headgear, which is awesome. It's got also a deep cradle similar to that Evora we looked at just a few minutes ago. The one thing I do want to point out that's different than the Evora is this little membrane right there that goes down in between, almost like providing two nostril holes. That little membrane is supposed to give it some good rigidity so that it doesn't shift as much around on your nose. Some people have said that they feel like it occludes their breathing a little bit. So just keep that in mind. If that's something you struggle with, maybe the Evora is a better option. And if the Evora was something you felt like shifted too much, maybe this one's a better option. The other really cool thing about it is it has a very quiet, diffused exhalation. See, it's got this little material in there in the exhalation ports that really make it super quiet. You really can't feel the exhalation at all. I'll show you in a minute when we hook it up. The other really nice thing is it is a very simple cushion removal. You can't really do it wrong. It's all soft and it just slips right into the ridge on the frame here. And you can't do it wrong. It's got a big notch on the front there, so it's very obvious which way's up and which way's down. One of the downsides of this is the same downside for the P10. This headgear can be really tricky to get on and off. Like you have to get the little loop off of it there, slip this little frame thing off, and then when you're putting it back on, you have to line it up perfectly in that little hole, which can be tricky as I'm showing you now. And then slide it all the way down, making sure that your little tab is on the inside there. Get it all the way down and then kind of loop it over that little edge there, and then it's back on. So if you have dexterity issues, removing the headgear can be a little tricky from time to time. The other thing that we hear a lot is that the headgear actually wears out fairly quickly because it is all elastic, you know, so as you sweat and as you're stretching it, putting it on and off, especially if you've got to wear it kind of tight, the headgear elasticity can start to wear out a little bit earlier than you might expect. And the other thing is that there's no quick connector for the tubing. With a mask this simple, I think ResMed's probably maybe wise on that because it's so easy to take it on and off. I'm not sure you do need a quick connector. It just may not be necessary, but it is not something that's included if you're a person that really enjoys that quick disconnect, go to the bathroom, come back, snap back in, and get back to therapy in the middle of the night. So let's hook this thing up and try it on. Like I said, it's really simple to put on, very traditional, right? Just put it under the nose, pull the headgear. If you grab the bottom strap, just pull it to the back of your head there. So slip it on, pull it over, and then this one's so stretchy, sometimes you have to take the top strap there and just kind of bring it to the right point so that you have a good upwards pull as well. All right, this is a medium again. Good, you'll see we're at a 10 centimeters of pressure there. Hope that screen's on. There we go. 10 centimeters. This mask feels a little puffier. I don't know how to describe that, but it kind of floats on the nose a little bit, which is nice. It really reduces a lot of the pressure of, you know, pulling the mask tight up against your face. Also, like I said, the exhalation, I'm cupping the exhalation area and I can't feel it at all. There's no draft up in the eyes at all. And it's very, very quiet. So, really, really very nice. I will say the exhalation feels a little bit more difficult than it did on the Evora, but I can't tell if that's something I'm just making up in my head or if it really is there. Certainly not dramatic. All right, and then so taking it off is also super easy. Just grab that back strap, pull it up and over, and it's very easy to get off of your head. So we like this one a lot. It's been a great mask. It compares directly to that Evora because they both have the front tube connector and the cradle style, right? There's obviously some differences that you can look at with both of them. Now, if you're a side-to-side sleeper quite a bit, the next two cradle masks are gonna be ones that you wanna look at as well. All right, the last two nasal cradle masks are distinctly different from the first two, and that is because they have the top of the head tube connection points. For a lot of people that move side to side, it's kind of a cool feature because you're not dragging the tubing across your chest as you move around at night. They are dramatically different because they obviously have the big tubes that run along the side. So the head part is a little bulkier, but you know, getting the tubing out of your way is kind of a nice positive. So let's start off with the N30i here. All right, so the N30i is a really nice mask. It's got a super soft and flexible cushion, seals under. It's got that divided bridge across there as well. I'll show you a little closer in a second. It comes integrated with these little soft pads that kind of keep the abrasion to a minimum on the side of the face because these silicone straps can sometimes, you know, kind of rub the skin a little bit. One other thing to keep in mind about these masks is that the silicone can sometimes pull your hair a little bit. So if that becomes an issue for you, you may want to switch to you know, a front of the face style cradle mask. Really simple head strap on it. You know, just tightens and loosens with the straps similar to the others. The cushion is available in small, medium, small wide, and wide. it is available in a fit pack, so all sizes can come with it if you're ordering it in the fit pack option. The frame, which is the part that connects to the cushion and to the head strap, is available in standard or small. So if you've got a small little head like me, the small may be a better option, but standard fits almost everybody. The other thing about the frame itself is it has like a stretch fit to it here, right? You see how that kind of wiggles around on the head? What that's really designed to do is as you move around, the tube obviously has a little bit of tube drag coming from the CPAP. And so it's supposed to give up here without pulling side to side on the cradle. Because one thing for sure is if you pull to the side and it pulls to the point where it adjusts this cradle under your nose, you're gonna get a leak up the side of the nose. You'll see kind of when I put it on here in a second how that would work. The pros of this particular mask are that it is extremely quiet. It has that really nice diffuser on the front, which makes a very little draft. You don't feel it, and it is really quiet. You'll see that in a minute when I put it on. That stretchy frame is a real pro. You know, it gives you a little bit more movement without the mask shifting underneath the nose at all. A lot of people really like the tube disconnect on this one. So you pinch and remove, really nice, quick attach tube connector on the top. And the last really nice thing about this is that it's a super soft silicone on the nose cradle itself. It used to be a bit more rigid, had some hard plastic in there, and people complained that it was pushing, but they upgraded that to a completely soft silicone design. A couple of the drawbacks would start off with the exhalation. We've had a few people tell us that it feels a little difficult to exhale against, and that may be because it's so well diffused. Obviously, when you diffuse it more and make it quieter, so you don't feel the draft, it probably makes it a little bit more difficult to exhale on. Not dramatic, but it's something that some people have passed along to us. The other thing is that while this gives you a lot more freedom of movement on the top, the stretchy tube thing can be a little funky at times, you know, because it wants to bow around. So because it has a little more flexibility, as you move around, it may be something you notice a little bit. And the last little drawback that I would point out about this is that the strap on the back, especially for ladies, sometimes wants to slip up the back of the head, especially if you have, you know, silky hair. My wife actually usually puts like a ponytail on masks like this, so it holds it in place, you know what I mean? Like, if you can picture that, I obviously won't be able to demo that for you, but you put your hair up there, a lot of times getting the strap underneath there, it won't ride up the head. But that is something, if you wear your hair down, it can slip up the back of the head just a little bit. So let's try this thing on so you can hear how it sounds and what it's like fitting it. All right, so this is a medium cushion, and it is a standard frame, which you'll see on the deal there. It's also super easy to put on, right? So you just slip it in the nose and pull this strap to the back of the head, just like that. This is very loose on me, so to tighten it, all you have to do is grab those straps evenly on both sides, pull them. One thing I'll point out is that I do have a small head. You can see how this is kind of almost touching my ears. A small frame probably would be best for me, but the standard seems to work just fine as well. All right, we are running at a CPAP attenuated. Again, as I exhale, I feel absolutely nothing. Very quiet on exhalation, and there is no draft at all, not up towards my eyes or anything. So really very nice. Nothing about this feels uncomfortable to me at all. So yeah, and it's not riding up the back of my head at all. It fits really nicely there. And so side to side would be very easy with this one for sure. And again, this was a medium cushion standard frame. That seems to be a pretty darn good fit for a vast majority of people. But this one is available as fit pack, so you can get all the cushion sizes with either size frame. All right, the last one I want to look at is the OG of this category. This is the DreamWear Nasal Cradle. One thing I probably should have pointed out before I moved on from the N30i is it fits if you take the cushion off of this, right? You got the little cradle cushion here. You actually can get the pillow as well. The nasal pillow version will snap into this exact same frame. They share a frame and headgear. So it's kind of cool that you could switch back and forth from nasal pillow to cradle on this particular mask. The reason why I went back to that is because that was the first thing I was going to say about the DreamWear here. This is the cradle version, but it also has a really nice silicone pillow that you could attach to this. And this even has a full face version that'll fit this as well, which the N30i does as well. The F30i is the version, full face version. In fact, I want to throw a link in here for our minimal contact full faces. So if you're a full face mask person, you may actually want to visit the minimal contact demo we have for that as well. It's kind of the minimal contact's a cradle, but also goes over the mouth as well for mouth breathers. But gotten too distracted here. The DreamWear cradle is a really cool mask as well. It also has a really nice swivel. It's a little more free spinning swivel on the top, but that's where your tubing attaches, right? Gives you a lot more side to side movement. The cradle rests underneath the nose, just like the others do. This one has just a genuine open hole there, right? So the ResMed had that little membrane, which some people like, some people don't. This particular sizing is a medium frame and a medium cushion. I would say on this one, the small cushion actually fits more people than the medium. I don't know why, but small is usually a good place to start. It is available as a fit pack. The DreamWear cradle is available in small, medium, large, and medium wide. And as I said earlier, the small seems to fit a vast majority of people, that or medium. The headgear, the frame, I should say, is available in small, medium, or large. So if you got a small head, go small. Almost everybody uses medium. If you got a monster head, you could use the large frame, which is nice. So as far as pros of this mask, the top of the head tube connection is definitely a big pro. Super nice to be able to move side to side, and it has a really great rotation, so there's not a whole lot of drag or pull. This one also has a nice quick disconnect on the top where your tubing connects onto it. It also swivels, so the swivel portion of this on the top is really fluid and easy. It moves very, very well as you move in the bed. One thing about this connector, to be sure, it's so simple and easy, it gets lost. I'm not going to call this a con or anything, but it's very easy to forget that it's in your tubing, because it gets so flush in there. So if you're having trouble connecting to a different mask, you may have left that in there. It's also a very soft silicone. We don't really get too much negative feedback as far as abrasion or pressure points with the cushion at all. And the other big benefit of this one that I really like are these headgear arms. That comes standard on here now. It moves the headgear point to a lower part of the head and really reduces that shift up the back of the head if you have silkier hair that kind of forces it to ride up the back of your head, and it'll affect your fit. Well, these headgear arms move that connection point a little lower, which is really, really nice. Some of the downsides of this one is it's a very pronounced exhalation port right there. It's just like one little hole. And so it's pretty projected. You'll see that in a minute when I actually put it on. So if you've got a bed partner that doesn't like that, they may feel the exhalation on this when you turn that way in bed. The other thing is that the silicone tubing on the side of the face can irritate some people. There are little tube wraps that come with it that you can put. They're like little velour wraps that go along there and Velcro in place to make it soft on your face. But as it comes, sometimes the silicone on the side of the face will irritate some people. And the last thing people have told us that's maybe a little bit of a con on this one is they get a little bit of a leak out the front of this mask. So a lot of them have a side leak. All of them have that potential just because it's very easy for the air to escape up the side of the nose. But this one has kind of a deeper V on the front there. And so we will see people from time to time having a front of the nose leak there. If that's happening, you definitely want to shift the headgear further back on your head. And you may even have to go with, from what I'm thinking, a larger frame size so that you can pull it back further and get a little more pull on the front there. But if you're having to over tighten it, it's not going to be something that's comfortable for you anyway. All right, so let's try this one on and you guys can see what it sounds like and feels like on me. So really simple, same deal, just put it on, pull it to the back of your head, and as you need to, tighten your straps. This medium frame fits me pretty well, and the medium cushion seems to fit pretty well as well. I do better on a small cushion, just if you're looking at me and sizing yourself up, small is usually best for me. Tubing connects up top like I told you earlier, and we will fire the 011 up here. All right, give her it at the 10 centimeters. The exhalation port, I can feel a draft significantly all the way out to, about right there. Get it closer, it's very pronounced, so you could probably hear me run my finger across it there. I wouldn't say that the exhalation is loud at all. It's still pretty quiet, but it is something you will feel. Well, maybe not you, but if somebody's laying beside you, they're probably going to feel that draft. As a person who has slept beside somebody with this, that sometimes can be a little irritating. Again, if you look at the way it lands on my head, it is way back at the bottom here, so there's really no chance of it riding up the back of my head at all. And the freedom of movement on this top little swivel is like super nice. You can see I'm moving it all over the place, and it's not affecting the fit of the mask at all, even at setting a 10 here. If you roll on one side, same for the N30i, you pinch off this side, the air flows through here just fine. Same pressure, I don't notice any difference there whatsoever. So this is a nice option as well. All right, so that's the video on the nasal cradle masks. Hope you found it interesting. If so, really enjoy those thumbs ups. Comment with any experience you've had of your own. That's really helpful to other people on the channel to hear from other users. If you want more info, subscribe. I'll also tell you that we put a link in the description here that's got all of the details about these masks. You can even find the detailed videos of these masks. I didn't get super detailed on these, I know, so don't hate me in the comments, please. Just didn't want to cram all that into this one video. You can see the real detailed videos either on our channel or in the link in the description to all of these masks individually if you want to know fitting instructions, maintenance, and all that good stuff. So hopefully you enjoyed the information, and thank you for watching.